Good morning, students, or Jai Hind. Now, in our last classes, we are studying about the social changes. Understand? And the social changes, or how the social structural changes, or changes in the norms, changes in the behavior, changes in the changes in the way of the life there uh, comes about. Understand? And comes about how this changes happens. Now the changes is the changes is the inevitable facts that always happens and goes on. So far we have seen that, and some of the examples that there are two kinds of the changes we have so far studied. The first changes, the first we have seen that how the through the evolutionary method, understand, and through the evolutionary way, a gradual change happens in the way of the life, and even in the physical formations of the human being. Understand, their structure changes. So just like similarly, the changes in the human social lives, our social lives happens, and the occurs by the passage of the time. A gradual change happens, a evolutionary change happens. Understand? Or we have seen that is how the Charles Darwin now he said that it is survival of the fittest. So that, and moreover, we have also studied about the revolutionary changes. Understand, the changes in the through the revolution. It means that some changes happens very sudden, and all of sudden or very quickly, and the rapid change happens. Understand, or a sweeping change happens. So such kind of the changes happens have called as a revolutionary changes. Understand, revolutionary changes, or now we have now seen how in the after the French Revolution. Understand, the French society now just went or underwent French society underwent a greater change after the revolution. Understand, the class structure was completely class first state, second state, and third state. Such kind of the structure was completely diminished and eradicated from the French society. Understand, or society on a basis of the equality just installed there. Now here even I have also mentioned about the Russian Revolution. Understand, so through this Russian Revolution, a social structure and a complete and the entire social structure of the Russia now change, economic structure change, the political system change. Now every walk of the life change after this. Now similarly, students, I had also mentioned about the industrial revolution of the industrial revolution which occurred in the England, and how this industrial revolution now ended the feudal structure of the society, and the new social structure on the basis of the capitalism, or the capitalist class, or the working class formed in England because of the industrial revolution. And now here we are also going to look through the telecommunication revolution. Understand, this the telecommunication revolution is now happening and occurring. So now the different these revolution had no doubt brought about the structural change. We see that in social structure, social fabrics how broken, and now that those fabrics now took the society was shaped, society was structurized in a different way. We have seen so far that. Understand, so the structural change happens. Here we are going to say further see that now what were the reason, and another just example we have seen that how the paper currency which came into the circulation, paper currency, how this paper circulation of the paper currency now just brought about a bigger bigger change is sweeping change in the economic and credit system, banking system, okay, banking system, credit system, or economic transactions. Understand, this all sphere market system was completely changed after the introduction, after the circulation of the paper money. Understand, and the moreover we have also seen that through these revolutionary changes or the also happens in the views also. In the views, what the views that now the child labors about that, a revolutionary changes happens about that. Now in the 19th century and the before, the children were looked, understand, as a little adults, and their work, they were expected to share the work with their parents. Understand, share, expected to share the work in their parents work. But by the passage of the time, what happened, the childhood was defined well. Understand, childhood was defined well, and then the children's this and the children's this age childhood was defined, this age was now made a specific, considered a specific age for the growth and the all round and the full fledged growth and the development of the child's academic educational development, their all round development had been included in that. So the very harsh law or the law had been enacted to protect the children's. Understand? So these views now change and brought about the different changes in our society. Now here we are going to see, we shall study in a very broad sense what were the causes of these changes, what factors brings are the, what the sources, what the causes or the sources which bring about the changes in the social life, bring about brings about a complete change in the society. Understand? So now here we have divided this factor which now brings about the changes in the society. We have now make it the certain points: environmental changes. Understand? Environment, because of the factors, environment brings about the changes in the society. Technological sources, factors, economic factors, political factors, and the cultural factors. So here are the 5 factors, major factors, which now bring about the changes in the social structure of the human lives, changes in the social life of the human being. Understand? So these are the environment, ecological, economic, political, and the cultural. The students, these are the factors which now brings and which are the responsible for the changing in the society, for bringing about these changes happens in the society. So now we shall go through point wise one by one. The first, today we shall focus on the environmental changes. First, the nature, we know very well, or the ecology. Ecology, we have the relations with the physical forms of the earth. We have ecology. We have our relations with the plants, our relations with the trees, our relations with the water, our relations with the hills and the forest. Now this all comes the entire environment and physical, the physicals or the organism, or the biologicals, all comes together and form the ecology. Understand? So now here the nature, ecology, physical environment have always had a significant influence on the structure and shape of the society. Now here we can say, the physical influences and the always the environment always shape the have the very significant influence our society and influence on the human being, and from the human being societies had been the form. Understand? And this human being, through the human being societies had been the form, and this society now took the shape, yeah, or take the shape, the society take the shape through the environment. Environment shapes our lives. Environment shapes the society, shapes the structure, social structure and the society. Environment. Now the we upon us, we are the having the much pressure of the environment. Environment now, much pressure of the environment. Environment regulates our life. Environment regulates and shapes our life and our life conditions. Understand? So now, students, this was particularly true to the past when human beings were unable to control the overcome the effect of the nature. Now, for the centuries, we human beings have been the under the control of the nature. Nature controlled us, and we are also afraid of the nature. Nature now conferred on or blessed us, but the nature also cursed us. Understand? Brings a destruction to us, our lives, and the nature now shapes our life. And we may have been the completely under the control of the nature. Understand? And nature, one thing is very clear: we human being never can overcome the nature. Understand? Nature, some extents we are influencing the nature, but the nature curses us. Nature takes the revenge, and nature itself balance. Nature itself balance by killing us, by the bringing the destruction and the construction. Nature is now based on this theory. Understand? Now, nature always balances everything. By any way, we are still living in the balance of the nature. Nature is balancing. One virus, understand, balance the nature and balance the pollution. One virus, understand, we never can overcome the nature. So nature shapes our life. Although for extent, for a certain extent, we are the proud of that. We are the winning the nature. We have overcome the nature, but the nature also curses us, takes the revenge. Understand? Someday the nature will take the revenge as we try to destroy the nature. So here we are talking about this was a particular true in the past when human beings were unable to control the overcome the effect of the nature. Now in the past we have been not able to control the nature. Understand? Control. And for example, people living in a desert environment were unable to practice the settled agriculture. Now we had no any made the any development, any science and technological development. So that's why we were living in the desert area. Understand? Where people living in desert area were not able to settle down or able to bring start the agricultural life. Understand? Because of the deserts, and they could not bring the water, they could not manage the water in the deserts. So that's why they had to be the shape their life according to the nature. And now possible plains agriculture or the sort of that was the possible in the plains near the rivers and so on. In the near the rivers, agriculture could be the possible. Near the on the plains, agriculture could be the possible. But so the kinds of the food they ate or the clothes were the food. The way they earned their livelihood. Now the nature determined the kinds of the food. The desert people having their different kinds of the food. Their plants have now they have adopted in the flourishing or cultivating in different kinds according to the nature, according to the climate. Even the plants now convert themselves, adapt themselves according to the climate. You know, we study in the science. Understand? So now all the animals, even the human being, now their food determination, their culture, their clothes, all things is determined or they regulated by the nature, by the environment, what where they are living and under that environment. Understand? So now we are students, or the living on the livelihood and their patterns of the social interaction were all determined to a large extent by the physical and climatical condition, and their pattern of their social structure, pattern of the behavior, pattern of the rules and regulation according to the physical or climatical condition and according to their environment. Under that circumstances, they regulate the rules, regulation, their livelihood, their dress, their food habit, their custom, their traditions, festivals, all happens according to the physical and the climatical condition of that area. Understand, students, the society is shaped through the nature, through the environment, whatever that. And moreover, the same was the true people living in very cold climates also. We can see that, even and the cold climates, the plants, conical leaves are there. Now the fur, the animals are the full of the fur. This is the nature, because they have now created and developed their adaptability according to the climate, cold climate. Understand? And the moreover here, the port towns climate and the port towns or along the major trade routes and the mountain passes, the people have now developed, the society has been constructed on that basis, and the valleys, fertile mountain passes, valleys, people living in the different kind of the physical area or the physical or the environmental area, they have created such kind of the influences in the society has been now decreasing over the time with the increase of the technology and the now, but today much extent our life has been we are the capable of the winning over the nature. We are winning the nature because or our dependency on the environment is decreasing, on the nature is the decreasing, because we have evolved, increased the technological resources. So through the technological resources, we try to be in our life, we live our life, try to live against the nature, and we try to overcome on the cold, overcome on the heat. Understand, through the technology we are now facing and trying to overcome the nature and trying to determine our ease and comfort. Understand, and moreover, technology allows the overcome the adapt the problems posed by the nature. Now this technology, whatever the nature just express, we try to win by the technology, reducing the differences between the societies living in different sort of the environment. The societies are our different societies living in different kinds of the environment, climatical conditions, but these differences are being being shortened or the being reduced. Differences are being reduced. Understand, because of the technology, because of the technology, and the moreover technology, our relations with the new ways and the environment. So it is the perhaps more accurate to say that effect of nature on society is changing rather than simple declining. The effect of the nature on the society is changing. Effect of the nature on society is the changing, or rather than the simply declining. How we may ask, does this affect social change? Can how can we can here is the questions that how can we say that might ask, does this affect social change? Next, the environment may have shaped the society. How the environment may have shaped the societies, but how did it play any role in the social change? Now, environment may have shaped the society, but how did it play the role in the social change? Suppose now the environment can make the society. Society can be the made by the environment. Understand, by the pressure of the environment. According to that, but on the other hand, we can see that how the social change can be brought by the environment. Environment frame the society, but how it can bring the change. Change. So now here, students, the easiest and the most powerful answer we can have with the found the natural disasters. Now, certainly, or now the time to time, natural disasters occurs na, natural disaster in the form of earthquakes, in form of the tsunami, in form of the flood, in form of the events, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, flood, tidal waves, and the tsunami, like the for example in the Indonesia and Sri Lanka or Andaman Islands, parts of Tamil Nadu in December 2004 can now change the society quite drastically. So this big tsunami or the big disasters can bring about the social change. Now our social fabrics, our social structures are completely rooted out. So then after what the social structure is again constituted or again emerged, this is the quite different from the earlier social structure, because these disasters have a big impact on our social life. Again, once the society is completely destructurized or destructed, so then after the new society is constructed, and this is why, this is how, this is because of the natural catastrophe and natural disasters that now completely now which completely rooted our society or the destroy our society. Now here these changes are often irreversible. Whatever the changes happens come after the tsunami and earthquakes and the volcanic eruption, so now this could not be the restored, and they are the permanent and don't allow the return to the way things were, and these changes becomes the permanent and does not allow the things as where things were already there, does not allow those things which were already existing there. Understand? So now this changes happens or the social for we can have the examples. It is quite possible that many of these whose livelihood were destroyed by the tsunami, livelihood was completely destroyed. The tsunami which happened 2004 will never be able to return to them, and those livelihood which had gone will never can be returned again. And there are numerous instances of natural disasters. We have numerous instances of the natural disasters happening in the different parts of the world. Understand? So we have a chain of galaxy of the example. Environment and ecology factors need not only destructive cause change, but the nature is not always destructive. I have already told you, the nature now expresses in the two form, expresses in the two way. Nature expresses in the two ways. The first destructive ways, second the constructive. Whether the bane or the blessings, whether the bane and blessings, the nature now affects and comes about bane and the, here we are the Here they can be the constructive as well as the destructives. Okay, and a good example of the discovery of oil desert in region, we have the good discovery in the oil in the desert, that group the boon for the boon for boon for the deserts people, or the now West Asians people, where they called Middle East, like the discovery of gold in California. Understand? This also brought the blessings to the these people living there, and here the oil reserves became the boons for, and they were the found country like the Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, this and the they here the and the world Emirates, Arab Emirates, and differently. I okay. Thank you very much.